What if I told you that everything you've been taught about strength and weakness is a lie? We learn from a young age that the strongest, the biggest, the most imposing are the ones who win. But what if I told you that the most decorated war hero in American history was a man the army rejected for being too small and too weak?
Today, you are not just going to see a war story.
Everyone feels fear.
The biggest difference is never in its absence, but in what we do with it, you know.
When young Audie heard the first shots in Italy, he felt that pit in his stomach. Of course he did. But while fear paralyzes many, for that soldier, it worked like a trigger. His courage wasn't made of stone. It was a flame that ignited precisely in the middle of the darkness and chaos of battle. We have a habit of measuring greatness in awards, in medals that shine on a chest, and Audie Murphy's chest became too small for them all. He became the nation's greatest war hero, a symbol of victory and power. But what they don't tell you is that every one of those honors was also a scar, a reminder of a fallen friend. The true test of resilience was no longer on the battlefield, but inside his own mind. If this story lit a fire in you, the first step is to act. Let me know in the comments below. What battle will you decide to fight? Starting today. Stories like this are our fuel, so please subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell.
That way, you won't miss any of our next journeys and will continue to learn from the giants who showed us how to truly fight. You're going to discover the story of a man who turned every no life threw at him into ammunition, proving that courage isn't measured in inches.
Get ready to learn the unbelievable journey of Audie Murphy, and I guarantee, in the next 5 minutes, you'll question everything you think you know about what it takes to be a giant.
And it didn't take long for everyone to see that flame.
In one of those life-defining situations, he saw his comrades pinned down by a German machine gun.
Without waiting for orders, he just went, alone.
It's in that kind of action that the journey of resilience becomes real, and an ordinary man begins to walk the path of a true war hero. He didn't think, he just acted. The war has a cruel way of following you home.
It doesn't ask for permission to enter. Nightmares became the new trenches, insomnia the new guard duty.
He, the bravest man in America, had to sleep with a loaded pistol by his bed.
Just imagine the irony. The sound of silence became more terrifying than the explosions, showing that a soldier's courage is tested again and again, even in peace.
The fight to get into the fight. Life has a funny way of testing us, doesn't it? Imagine a young man, with the fire of youth in his eyes, knocking on door after door only to hear no again and again.
He didn't have the build, the height, or the weight expected of a great soldier. To the world, Audie Murphy was just a scrawny kid, but on the inside, a powerful courage was screaming, the will to fight that no one else could see. Isn't that something? And what he saw was unbelievable. A burning American tank destroyer about to explode. While anyone else would run away, Audie ran towards it. Alone and already wounded, he climbed onto that metal pyre and turned the vehicle's machine gun into a wall of fire. That act of pure courage wasn't a plan. It was instinct.
It was the greatest proof of resilience imaginable. One man against an army. And this is where he aimed his weapon at a far more dangerous enemy than a tank. Silence.
In an era when men were expected to suffer quietly, he used his voice.
He spoke openly about the nightmares, the anxiety, the invisible wounds of war.
This was his final great act of courage. A journey of resilience not just for himself, but for a collective, on behalf of the thousands who suffered in hiding.
Finally, a door cracks open, but with a catch. They wanted to place him far from danger, maybe as a cook. It's in these moments that a person's true character is revealed, in the refusal to accept an easier path. His quest for resilience wasn't about ego.
It was about purpose.
Murphy's courage wasn't that of someone without fear, but of someone with a much bigger and stronger reason to fight. For an hour, that young soldier became the battlefield itself. He turned the most dangerous thing on the field, a flaming metal coffin, into his shield and his fortress.
That act alone made him a legend, the greatest war hero the nation had ever seen. But you have to understand something. A light that burns that brightly always leaves behind a very, very dark shadow. This incredible soldier's last battle wasn't for a piece of land, but for dignity.
He fought so that other veterans would be seen not as broken, but as men who carried the weight of the world on their shoulders.
The true legacy of this war hero isn't just in the medals, but in the courage to show his own wounds in order to heal the wounds of others. He was a hero twice over. Think about it for a moment. How many times has someone told you that you weren't capable,
that your dream was too big, or that you didn't have what it takes? We all have an army of outside voices telling us what we can't be.
The journey of resilience for any true war hero begins like this, by turning every no into fuel.
And that's precisely why, when he finally stepped onto the battlefield, something extraordinary was about to happen.
The price of glory. This is where the story gets truly profound, because it shows us the man behind the legend. This suffering doesn't diminish the war hero. On the contrary, it humanizes him and connects us to him in a real way.
His greatest journey of resilience was just beginning, and it didn't involve guns or uniformed enemies. What he decided to do with this pain, with this internal battle, was perhaps his most courageous act of all.
Baptism by fire, born to fight.
It's amazing how respect is earned in the silence of our actions, isn't it?
From that day on, the other men stopped seeing the scrawny kid.
They started seeing a soldier they could trust with their own lives. That display of courage was just the beginning, a small warning of what was to come. No one there could have imagined that this same young man was about to perform one of the greatest feats of the entire war.
The hero who spoke when no one would listen.
Fame is a funny thing.
For most, it's a prize, a comfortable place to rest.
And Audie Murphy reached the top, became a Hollywood star, the war hero everyone cheered for in the movies.
He had the life many would dream of, the chance to leave the past behind and just play the role of the invincible soldier. But he knew his most important role hadn't been played yet. The day he became a legend.
There are moments when life's script seems already written, and the ending is defeat.
On that cold day in France, that was exactly the feeling.
Audie's company was in tatters, retreating under heavy fire from tanks and hundreds of enemies.
For any soldier there, the mission was simple: survive. But the mind of a true war hero works differently.
Audie Murphy's journey teaches us a brutally simple lesson. The world can give you a million reasons to give up, but you only need one reason to fight. His story isn't about war.
It's about the power of purpose.
Now, the question turns to you. What is the army they're telling you that you can't defeat?
What no have you been accepting as your final truth? Remember, the greatest battle isn't against what's out there.